And we are back with the fifth segment of the GSMC basketball podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this fifth segment, we are going to be talking about the possibility of the Clippers or the Pacers retiring Paul George's jersey. Now, the reason why this has come to my attention is because Paul George brought this on, he brought this topic up on his podcast. He was talking about how he felt like the Pacers or the Clippers should retire his jersey. And I'm just here to list my opinions on that. And honestly, the way jersey retirements, they're odd. You don't necessarily have to be in the Hall of Fame to get your jersey retired, but at the same time, you cannot be somebody who hasn't done something significant for their respective franchise. Now, for the Pacers side, this was actually one of my friends actually he argued that he shouldn't be retired for the Pacers because the Pacers years and their successes and postseason successes, they've been a lot more and they've been a lot better under different stars as opposed to Paul George specifically. Now, in the recent NBA, there is not how do I put this? There's not really a consensus on how you get your jersey retired, if that makes sense. There's no real guaranteed set thing that you have to do in order to ensure that your jersey is going to get retired. It has to be a lot of different great achievements that you have for a respective organization. So it's the amount of first teams that you make, the amount of finals appearances that you have, the amount of rings that you have for the franchise, anything that is embedded in history based off of your career for the specific franchise. So it's the one thing the thing that Paul George has done on the Pacers. I mean, he's made it to Eastern Conference Finals appearances 2 different times, but I don't think that's enough to retire your jersey number like that. I mean, he's not even considered one of the best Pacers. He's top 3 at least if you're thinking about best all-time Pacers, but there's not really any sort of, he never made it to the finals and he's never made it to the finals. And really for the Pacers, in that franchise, it seems there's so much history of basketball that you have to spill and mention the Pacers because of that. Because they played against Michael Jordan, they made it to the finals against Kobe, but with Paul George, I can't really say that they've done anything noticeably different when he was on the roster, if that makes sense. Now, for the Clippers, on the other hand, the Clippers, they made it to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in their entire conception with Paul George. So having his jersey retired for the Clippers makes a little bit more sense. It definitely does make more sense than to have the Pacers retire Paul George's jersey. I'm just trying to think of any other scenario where some of these players, they have their jerseys retired, but they didn't really do anything considerable. I know for a fact, the only superstar that is most likely going to get his jersey retired and hasn't really done much for the organization, aside from one thing, is Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors. Kawhi and the Raptors, there was only 1 year of Kawhi on the Raptors, but in that 1 year, he won them the championship and he won the Finals MVP, which is literally the only championship that the franchise has ever won, and therefore that definitely demands respect, and it makes total sense why a player would get his jersey retired for that specific reason. It makes total sense. Now, losing, however, in the finals, it doesn't make the most complete sense. Now, it only makes sense if that is the first finals appearance of your entire franchise's history. But I mean, Paul George, he's never made it to the finals. Now, I don't really honestly, Harden's jersey, his might get retired, but Harden has actually broken several records when he was on the Rockets. I can't really think of many records that Paul George has broken for the Pacers, or any records that he broke while he was on the Pacers, let alone, the Clippers. Now, the only memorable thing that he's done for the Clippers is take them all the way to the Western Conference Finals. And that was basically it. I mean, like, there's not really... So, I guess let me know what you guys think in the comments. But I personally think that, the Clippers, they should retire his jersey. Because, like... But the Pacers, maybe they shouldn't retire his jersey. That's my sort of thought on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now, and also, for the Pacers, which jersey would they retire? Would they retire the 24, or would they retire the 13? Or maybe they don't retire any of them. Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like they don't retire any of Paul George's jerseys. Well, except for the one where he was on the Clippers. And even then, if they don't retire the Clippers one, I wouldn't be too sad about it. So that's all I have for this segment. So thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show, leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Please remember to use the link in the description to get your comments recognized, or the link displayed below the ticker on every single show segment. That is gsmcpodcast.net. That is all I have for you today. I am your host, Nelson, and as always, take care.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.